Ciao, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to everyone from around the world. This is Viper Strike 95 Flight Simulator. Today, it's great to be here, and we're back where we ended last Sunday, as we're here at Leonardo da Vinci International Airport at Fiumicino. So we're back where we ended our last Sunday trip. On last Sunday, we took the Just Flight BAE 146 from Istanbul to Rome, basically one Rome from East Rome to West Rome, and now we're here to finish off the journey that we started last Sunday. It's great to have everyone here. We have Castella coming into the chat. Great to have you here. And so today's flight plan, the distance is going to be the shorter one, but there's actually a reason I want to make it shorter because I want you to get into all the landmarks. Since we already talked about all the historical landmarks, and since we already talked about the history of each of the places and all that, I wanted to have a shorter plan, but it'll let us get to see all the landmarks. So here's our flight plan for this trip right here. So this would be today's flight plan. It's a shorter one than normal, but there's actually good reason for this. So we're going to fly through a lot of Rome. From Fiumicino Airport, we'll be visiting quite a few landmarks, including the Palazzo della Civile Italia. We get to go through this area and see some of the mausoleums. And then we'll be visiting one of the first really major landmarks, Basilica of St. Paul outside the walls. Supposedly, this is where St. Paul was buried, one of the apostles of Jesus, and was considered to be the first pope. Then we'll be going across the river, the Tiber River, going across through quite a few of the Roman landmarks. And then we'll head to our first ancient Roman landmark, notable one, the Terme di Caracalla Bath Complex, and learn about the history of that place. Then from there, we'll be visiting the Circus Maximus, considered by many to be the largest stadium in all of ancient Rome, hosted lots of the chariot races back then. Then we're going to go across here. We're going to go across Capitoline Hill and visit Casa di Augusto, the residence of Rome's first emperor, Augustus, and visit also Domus Flava, which is Flavian Palace. And then we'll be visiting from there. We'll be going across and visit the main cathedral here in Rome, and I'm talking about the Archbasilica of St. John Lateran. This is the main cathedral of the church, and it's where the Pope has been seated here in Rome. Then we're going to visit the Piazza Emmanuel II. Then we're going to visit one of the most iconic places in Rome. Yes, the Colosseum. But the Colosseum has quite the unique history, though. But right next to it is the Ludus Magnus, a gladiatorial school. And then right here is the Arch of Constantine. Then from there, we'll be heading into the Roman Forum, one of the most iconic landmarks in all of Rome, the Roman Forum. Then, once we get to the Roman Forum, we'll visit the Trajan's Market, which is universally very famous around ancient Rome. Then we dip back into the Forum and visit Campio d'Aglio, designed by none other than Michelangelo. Then we'll visit the the Altar della Patria, home to the Italian unknown soldier. Go back into Trajan's Market. Go across the Tiber River, explore more of Rome from the other side. Then we'll make our way to the Vatican. We'll get to be visiting St. Peter's Basilica, St. Peter's Square, the Sistine Chapel. You also get to visit the Museum of the Vatican as well. We'll be flying over there too. Then we'll visit Castle St. Angelo Castle, Piazza Navona, and of course the other really well-known ancient Roman building, the Pantheon. Yes, Rome has its own Pantheon as well. Flying across more to Rome, we'll be then visiting Villa Torina, which was once the resident place of none other than Italy's most infamous dictator, Benito Mussolini. Then we would go across more of Rome into Borghese, to Borghese Hill, visiting the Mausoleum de Augustus, go across back the river, visit to Stadio Olimpico in the Rome and the Olympic Village, and then make our final stop here at Erb Airport at Lima, India, Romeo uniform. Quite the expansive flight plan today. See, it may be short in distance. Hey, Quart just hosted the stream. Quart, I hope you're doing well. Thank you for coming to my stream today. So yeah, this is going to be quite the flight plan today. Even though it is short, the flight plan is going to be quite action-packed. So this one's going to be a good one. So we're just going to get this thing started. This should be this little plane is easy. Test on. Okay. Easy start. Now that we have this thing started, so I want to ask you guys, I mean, this weekend has been pretty crazy this weekend. What a crazy weekend it's been. This weekend it was crazy. Between Friday, on Friday I flew transatlantic for the Two-Tone Murphy Firefly Air event. From Boston to Dublin. I actually managed to land there safely. I even had to do a go around, and I still landed really well. That was fun. And then Allison and Captain Rash did a near 15-hour flight from Eritrea to Karachi. And it took them like 15 hours to do it. I mean, it just goes to show you how crazy all the flights have been this weekend. Yeah, morning, Court. Good to have you here. Let me give Court a shout out. Court's a really good friend of my channel. Yes, I'm so craving a Slurpee. Yeah, it's going to be very important today. So give Court a shout out. I think he's really earned it. I think he's very deserving of all of it. So if you guys want to join me, I'm on Southeast Asia. I'm in Eurocraft. Nice. Yeah, this is a really nice little ultralight. It's slow, but it's perfect for what we do here today. So if you guys want to join in on my Discord, I do have a Discord myself, the Snake Pit. Estelle's with me. Nice. So we don't really have to do much. And yeah, there's a bit of wind, so definitely keep that in mind when we do today. Yeah, I'm having a great weekend so far. But yeah, basically for you guys that don't know, this is Pimencio Airport, the main international airport for Rome. And it's the busiest airport in the entire country. Too fast. But yeah, one of the things I really did like about this update, the Italian world update, the scenery here is just, it's beautiful. How's the pizza here? The pizza's just fine. They're worked. just a few rules about pizza in Italy. Just there are definitely no pineapples on pizza here in Rome. So let's go ahead and talk about. Considering I also did all the notes for Murph's flight through the transatlantic thing. I had to work on his notes, and originally it was 137 pages of notes. But it talked about not just the history of transatlantic flights. It talked about the different routes, but especially most of it was to the planes that flew through the routes. And basically, I'll actually find the link and post them to the Discord. Just hold up one second. Here, I got them on my Discord. But flight sim chat. Right. It's on my flight sim chat page in chat. But basically, it connects to my research notes. I had to split into 3 because there's no way I could read them once. It's like 100 megabytes, but it's rich, full of notes and information. But it shows you how much transatlantic flight has changed in about 100 or so years since the first one that did it. I mean, back then, transatlantic flights were like really long, arduous journeys, and now, I mean, it used to go from like 20-something hours to now only just 7. So it's pretty crazy. So this here is the Palazzo di Sibiglia Italiana. It's located here in the EUR district of Rome, which is currently the business district. This building was actually designed in 1938 by 3 Italian architects: Giovanni Ferrari, Ernesto Lapadula, and Mario Romano. This building is the most famous example of Italian rationalism and fascist architecture with neoclassical design. The enormity of it was meant to reflect the fascist regime's new course in Italian history. Because remember, now the design of the building draws inspiration from the Colosseum, so that's probably why it looks like the way it does. It was inaugurated in 1940, despite being unfinished. 10 years after its completion, there was a dorm with statues on the ground floor and steps that led to its entrance. Originally, this building was designed for the Italian civilization of the 1942 World Fair, but World War II happened. However, it's now the main headquarters for the Italian fashion house known as Fendi, which does lots of fur, leather goods, and more. So that's what the building currently is now. It has been featured in quite a few television series and films, including Zoolander 2 in 2016, the movie Titus in 1999, which is the film adaptation of Titus Andronicus from William Shakespeare. And then it's also featured in the 1962 film Bocca CCO 70, which was made by none other than Federico Fellini. So this building's been quite a few of the pop culture stuff. So that is going to be, we're going to probably see it pretty soon. Here, once we reach the EUR district. So there's that. So that gets into it. I know this seems slow, but that's why I'm playing it. But yeah, it's beautiful. if it's one thing World Update 10 did really good, the data on the ground is amazing. And I mean, you can definitely tell the data on this, satellite data, is just amazing here. It's incredible here. The data is just, it's unbelievable. It looks so good. So, about some news for the flight sim world. So, Flight Replicas releases their Piper Grasshopper to the sim, which is definitely interesting. I hope it's good, though. I hope the Flight Replicas J4 is good. In addition to this as well, a couple of places planning to make their way to the marketplace. We know the Honda Jet's in the marketplace, which I know is is the best payware business jet by far. Then we have the Savoia Marchetti S55 Local Legends. I wonder how that plane is for reviews. And then a new military jet came in. The MiG-21's there. I know Mark's gonna check it out on Wednesday. Did you get the 3410 414? No. But I did get something that I'm very interested to show off on Wednesday, Bart. I think it's let me give you a hint though. It's a Boeing. A plane that I really am very interested in, and from one of my favorite companies, Boeing. Don't get me wrong, the 310 414 is good, but I think I found a plane that I like even more than those. And also, that plane's for $20. Yes, I'm talking about the Boeing 247. And I can't wait to show it off on Wednesday's journey in the Philippines. It'll be a great way to finish off the journey, to finish it off in a vintage airliner. So we're getting near to the EUR Business District. This is probably in front of us. Oh, the 247. It is mechanical. It's good to have you here, Mechanical Madness. Yeah, the 247. I finally got it. And I did some flights last night. That plane is so good. I mean, I love the Junkers to death. I still am a huge fan of the Junkers, but the 247 is, I mean, it's the perfect plane to, it's a step up from the Junkers. So it's incredibly good. Very, very happy to get it. It took me a while to get it, but I decided, you know what, as a big fan of Boeing's, I'm going to get my hands on it. Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, the 247 is brilliant. Also, one more thing that just got pictures as well. So, on MSFF Add-ons, which is the website I'm on, they also PMDG released their first preview pictures for the 600 variant of the 737. So, for those that don't know, the 737-600 model, it is the smallest of the 737 NG models. And it's currently used by Scandinavian Airlines. So, it's basically the smallest of the two. If the 600 is the smallest and the 700 currently in the sim is the medium size, then the stretch version is the 800 version. So that was just, I think it retired and it did. Yeah, there's a 247 in the Museum of Flight here in Seattle. As well. I mean, I know, I think I said this to you guys again soon. I'm sorry, I apologize, but I mean, it's beautiful out here today in Rome. But it's just beautiful. I mean, flying through Rome and all this historic stuff. Just impressive. So here it is, guys, the EUR district down below us. I have a little tidbit about the EUR district. So this district, when it was originally built back in the 30s, it was supposed to be the site for the 1942 World's Fair back in the day, to celebrate the 20 years of the fascist government in Italy. However, with World War II and all that happening, it suffered severe damage because it was bombed by the Allies. However, after the war and the Italian economic miracle, this thing was redeveloped into a business district. And this area was particularly featured in the 1962 film Calise, directed by Michelangelo Antonioni as well. And it was even filmed at the Museum of Roman Civilization for the 007 movie Spectre in 2015. So here it is. These are some of the buildings here in the East District. You can definitely see. I think the building we're looking for, it's right here. Here's our building. This is Palazzo della Siviglia Italiana. Down from here. Hello there, Token Brown. It's good to have you here. Great to have you here, Token Brown. I hope you're doing well. Gonna have to power down, but I mean, 2,300 feet, yes, it's pretty high, but I like to. Gonna have to drop in altitude for a little bit. So if I pull it down like this, it's because I'm just wanting to drop altitude. You can definitely see some of the buildings here in the EUR district. Yeah, it's I'm getting the Italian pronunciations right. I know Italian's very similar to some of the other Romance languages, like French, it's Spanish. So from here we're going to turn right. So I also do want to show you guys something else too. So yesterday I did some flights for Firefly Air and continued on some of my flights, and I actually did something unprecedented for Firefly Air. I actually did something pretty amazing. So if you notice on my left, I have all these countries here. That's because I actually landed in all 241 countries on FS Hub for Firefly Air. I mean, I'm very impressed with that, to manage to land in all 242 countries, 241. These are all the countries, and I've landed in every single one of these countries. It's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy to land in all 241. But yeah, I'm hoping to do more flights, continue on more. And of course, next week I'm going to be finishing the Philippine Islands tour. So getting ready for not this upcoming Wednesday, but the next Wednesday afterwards to start on my journey to Japan. Visit the land of the rising sun and give you all what you need to know about the area. And yes, bruh. Yes, bruh. Oh, by the way, there's actually something I was wanting to show you guys. If you go down to my channel about page, there should be some sound alerts actually. I have it here on my Twitch channel, so you can press those alert buttons. So we can do this. Yeah, I actually have sound alerts. So feel free to play them if you want. So down below us, there's quite a few of some of the other Roman artifacts. This is the Circo di Mazzanio. This circus in action in particular is actually one of the best preserved circuses of the ancient Roman times. And basically, these circuses were meant for a lot of the chariot races. Yeah, Rome is amazing. It is. It's such a beautiful city. Yeah, Rome is incredibly. It's an incredible city. I mean, Merce visited Rome a few times actually. Tuto Murphy's a great friend of mine in the channel. I mean, I am his resident researcher after all, so. But Merce visited the city more than a few times, and he really enjoys visiting Rome, so. Okay, so we're now going to go talk about one of the other landmarks here in Rome. So we're getting to the next major Roman landmark. This is Basilica of St. Paul outside the walls. So this particular basilica is interesting. This basilica is one of the four major papal basilicas. Basically, for those, is one of the most important basilicas here in Rome, alongside the St. John in the Latrian, which we're also going to be visiting on our tour, St. Peter's Basilica, and then Basilica of St. Mary Major. Unfortunately, I don't think I forgot to have it here on the stream, unfortunately. But maybe if I do see it. But those are one of the four major basilicas. Also, there's one of the 7 pilgrim churches of Rome. This particular one is interesting. Even though this basilica is actually in Roman Italian territory, the Holy See actually owns it on the regime of extraterritoriality. Oh yeah, this basilica in particular was founded by Emperor Constantine over the burial place of non-armed St. Paul, which is Paul the Apostle, and apparently where it says when he was executed, his followers erected a memorial, called it a Cella Memoriae, and this basilica was consecrated by Pope Sylvester in 324. In 386 AD, Emperor Theodosius became a much larger basilica around the 4th century. This particular basilica is unique. It's in the neoclassical style, and more importantly, this basilica definitely is. Actually, wait, we already got. I flew ahead. I need to head back. I'm really sorry. I did see, but I flew ahead. Talked too much about history. So yeah, neoclassical style. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Apparently this is where St. Paul was buried here, around 2 miles away from the basilica. And there have been quite a few archpriests that are around here, the most recent being Cardinal James Michael Harvey, who came here in 2012. It's known for its beautiful interiors and mosaics, including the apse mosaic from 1220. It's definitely one of the most famous monuments here in Rome. Hey, Allison! Allison, I was not expecting you here today! Allison Johnson, it's great to have you here! It's been a long time since you popped into one of my own streams, Allison. I know you've been streaming for the last 2 days, but I hope you get some rest for today. I mean, you've been flying for like almost 22 hours straight of flying? It's pretty crazy. But Allison, thank you so much, guys. If you haven't checked out Allison Johnson, in fact, if it wasn't for Allison, I wouldn't even be streaming here today. She is a colossal help on my stream, for me being a streamer. She is easily my biggest inspiration. So, guys, if you haven't checked out Allison, she's incredible. Please give her a follow and give her all the support. She's incredible. So, Allison, we're touring the city of Rome today. We're going to visit the Colosseum, the Circus Maximus. We're going to visit all the iconic Roman monuments. It's going to be pretty awesome. So here it is. We're going to fly towards the Basilica, which is right here is the Basilica of St. Paul outside the walls. Apparently this is one of the places where St. Paul was, Paul the Apostle was buried. I'm going to go ahead and stop the thing for a bit. You're going to definitely take a picture. I mean, you got to take pictures here in Rome. I mean, do as the Romans do. So here it is. St. Paul outside the walls. These pictures are in my if we get to go down low. So we're now going to visit another very iconic. We're now going to visit another iconic Roman monument back in the old days, and this one is actually going to be the Baths of Caracalla. So these baths are actually quite interesting. They were the second largest of the public baths here in Rome. They were likely built back in AD 1212 or 1211 AD during the reigns of Emperor Septimus Severus in Caracalla, and these were actually in operation all the way to the 530s and then fell into disuse and ruin. During and since their operation as baths, they were the inspiration of many other notable buildings, such as the Baths of Diocletian, the Basilica of Maximus Antoninus, and believe it or not, even the original Pennsylvania station in New York City, along with the Chicago Union Station and the Senate of Canada building. They also found some very important sculptures from there. Two particular ones is the Veronese Bull and the Veronese Hercules were all statues found at the ruins of the Baths of Caracalla. But here's some more really unique information about these baths in particular. So, now the site covers around 25 hectares, and apparently you can find a public library in these baths. You can find a cold room, and even you can find gyms and saunas here too. Like, these baths are pretty nice. They have Olympic-sized pools, and even subterranean features have been found here. So these are the Baths of Caracalla, down below. So, just gonna pause it for a bit. Gonna go take a picture. I mean, you gotta take pictures here in Rome. I mean, now, definitely as well. It's a very impressive little monument here. Just gonna fly around the baths. Okay. So here's the Baths of Caracalla. Pretty stunning area as well. I mean, it's crazy this thing has swimming pools, cold rooms, it's got gyms, pools, it's got so much of it. I mean, I don't know how the Romans do it back in the old days. It's pretty crazy. Oh yeah, and one more thing. This area was even used as a concert venue, particularly by the Rome 3 Tenors concert, and was even used as the summer home of the Rome Opera Company from 1937 to 1993. And in fact, the baths were even used as a venue for the gymnastics. Were actually held here in the Baths of Caracalla. Pretty cool stuff, if you ask me. But then we get to one of the other most famous places here in Rome. So this particular place, right here. Let me go. This place right here. This place was the Circus Maximus. Let me tell you about this place. Circus Maximus. This thing is huge. I mean, the Circus Maximus was the largest venue in ancient Roman stadium. It was the first and largest stadium in ancient Rome. It's 621 meters in length, 118 meters in width, And guess how many people this thing can actually hold? Let me give you a hint though. It's actually over 6 digits. Okay, fine. This thing can host over 150,000 people. To put this in perspective, alright? The Circus Maximus is greater than all of the pro football and soccer stadiums or association football stadiums today. In fact, if you want to look at a modern variant to compare this thing to, this thing is compared to actually to Bristol Motor Speedway in Tennessee, and that's for NASCAR, which is insane. But this is ancient Rome. This was used for a lot of the chariot racing. Chariot racing was among the most popular sports in the ancient times, and it became the model for all sorts of circuses around the Roman Empire. Currently now, it's now a public park, and it's been around for a lot of times as well. He did a lot of public games and religious festivals around this area. There's a lot of religious significance here at the place, mainly for the ancient Roman religions. And currently, it's been used as a concert area. I mean, Genesis has performed a concert here for about 500,000 people at the circus. The Rolling Stones played there. And of course, victory celebrations have been held at the Circus Maximus as well, especially for the 2006 World Cup for the Italians. So yeah, this is the Circus Maximus. As visualized in Ben-Hur. Yes, Ben-Hur. Oh, and by the way, Allison, Ben-Hur was actually shot in Rome by the CSASIO film directing agency. This was mentioned in my notes, actually. And then there's right here, this is Domus Flavus. There's more ancient Roman ruins. So this here is Domus Flavus, Flavia. Yeah, Doug Carr, good to have you here. Rome's a huge thing of mine. It is. Rome is incredible. Rome is amazing. So, yeah. So Domus, the Flavian Palace, actually. So we'll go ahead and turn this around. This was the Palace of Domitian on Palatine Hill, one of the 7 hills in Rome. As well. Now, currently it's had a lot of changes since then. There's apparently some ruins you can still find around here, like the peristyle, gardens, banquet halls. You can find those all here in Rome. So within that place is actually one particular house, and the house you can find here is actually owned by none other than Augustus himself, because he actually has built his house on top of the palace. And apparently, his house is actually pretty famous around here. A lot of excavations have been done around that house. And this was actually the home of Augustus. So you see different peristyles. Basically, what peristyles are is a continuous porch. So they found a couple of his porches. They also found the Temple of Apollo Palatinus, which was dedicated to Augustus himself. And they've been doing a lot of excavations recently. And in the 2000s, they found access to the public. So there it is. So that is the House of Augustus. We're going to go back to Palatine Hill. I just wanted to get just want to talk about these areas for a bit, to circle around so we can talk about these areas. So here it is. This is where Domus Palace is from. Beautiful, beautiful area. I mean, it's crazy when you look at these ancient Roman buildings and compare them to the modern glass and steel. It's almost like you're transported to a completely different world than you are normally get to see in Rome. It's pretty crazy. So, yeah, take a picture. If you guys notice, I love taking pictures of all my flights, but it makes these flights very memorable and very enjoyable. So from there, we're going to be visiting quite a few major areas, but we're actually going to talk about probably the most important basilica that isn't part of the Vatican City, and this is the Archbasilica of St. John Lateran. So St. Basilica, Church of, basically this particular Archbasilica was actually from the 4th century. It was the seat of the Bishop of Rome. The Pope himself actually makes himself home here. Originally founded in 324, it is the oldest public church in the city of Rome and the oldest basilica in the entire Western world. Of all the 4 Papa basilicas of the major ones, it's the highest ranking of all the ones here in Rome. Now, this particular basilica was actually damaged by 2 fires in the 14th century, and it was rebuilt in the late 16th century and has been renovated quite a bit. But yeah, this palace is known for its altars, its beautiful architecture. It's even got some tombs of the some of the popes were actually buried here. Particularly, some of the ones buried here include including Pope Sergius IV, Pope Clement XII, and also Pope Leo XIII were actually buried here. And apparently this was actually a safe haven for the Pope during World War II. In fact, a lot of Jews and stuff were actually hidden here from the Nazis during the Second World War. So yeah, definitely a very historic landmark here in Rome. I mean, if you're a Roman Catholic, you definitely want to visit the church. The basilica, very. Yes, it's very pretty inside. It is. It's a beautiful place. Like, if you know a lot of the Roman basilicas, like, art is a huge deal in Rome. I mean, after all, Rome was second only to Florence in terms of the Renaissance. So it's not really a surprise to see Rome being this beautiful, by the way. It's definitely stunning. Very stunning area as well. We're going to go ahead and turn this around. Now, there's a major place I do want to talk. Now here's another place. So we're going to visit the Emmanuel II monument, dedicated to Victor Emmanuel II, one of the first king of the United Italy. Very important political leader. It's sad to see this architecture fading away. Yeah, it is. It's seeing the old statues. Like, art back in the day, people took art much more seriously. I mean, a lot of these Roman architecture were because of the Pope had so much power over Europe. I mean, it led to the Vatican being extremely wealthy. Yeah, I do miss the old style architecture. It's crazy. So after this one, we're going to visit the next major place. So let's talk about the first thing here. First is the Ludus Magnus. So what is the Ludus Magnus anyway? Well, it's a gladiatorial training school, it turns out. It's actually used to train the gladiators for the Roman Colosseum. This place is where a lot of the gladiators would live, eat, and practice to prepare for the gladiatorial games here in the Colosseum. It was constructed in the reign of the Emperor Domitian during the late 1st century CE. It's went through many reconstructions from the Roman Empire. And there's been lots of evidence that still survives today. One of those is from Epicletus, and it describes some of the conditions here being very harsh. Harsh conditions are used to train here, but it's to train gladiators for the fight. And trust me, gladiators have quite the diverse training regime. Like, they live like athletes. And if you're a successful gladiator, you're especially privileged. You get to actually have benefits no one else has. But here's a place that I think most you'll think of Rome. Yeah, the Roman Colosseum. This particular one is probably Rome's most famous landmark. One of its two most famous. So the Colosseum is actually an amphitheater here in Rome, east of the Roman Forum. It is the largest amphitheater ever built, and it's still the largest stand in the world here today, despite being the fact it's almost 2,000 years old. This was constructed by Emperor Vespasian in 72 AD. It was completed in 80 AD under his successor Titus. This particular amphitheater can hold up to 50,000 to 80,000 people when it was fully built. Yeah, 50 to 80,000 people. That's bigger than most of the association football stadiums in the EU. In fact, it would be 56th largest in the EU, which is still pretty incredible during his time as well. There's some really interesting thing about the Colosseum as well, some history. I actually have some slides that talk about the history of Rome. I'll upload those in my Discord. But it was built like in the 2nd century. It was funded a lot by the spoils taken from the Jewish temple during the Jewish-Roman War. Not just unskilled labor, but lots of builders, engineers, artists, painters, decorators did a lot of work here. There's all the construction. In fact, in 217, it was badly damaged by a lot of the fire and lightning, according to Dio Cassius, that destroyed a lot of the wooden upper levels. And then it's went through a lot of changes after the fall of the Roman Empire. Some were converted into a cemetery, to a church, to a lot of marketplaces and stuff, and now is a tourist site and one of the most visited in all of Rome. It was actually built with travertine stone with iron clamps. And here's one interesting thing about the Roman Colosseum. The Romans actually, there was a lot used for it. Back in the day, most people know the Colosseum as where they host a lot of the gladiatorial shows. They were called Minera, and it was very popular among the population. But there's a second kind of show that's very popular. It's called Venatio, or Animal Hunt. And what they did was bring wild beasts from Africa or the Middle East, like rhinoceroses, hippos, giraffes, oroches, lions, bears, and all that. And they were often staged with elaborate sets of moving trees and buildings. Apparently, back in Trajan actually celebrated his victories over Dacia, so he brought 11,000 animals and 10,000 gladiators over the course of 123 days. Which is pretty crazy events. But here's something more fascinating. During the early days, apparently ancient writers recorded that the building was even used for simulated sea battles, which is insane. We don't, like, there's not much evidence currently, but the fact it's been recorded was pretty huge. And of course, this was also used for Christianity, because a lot of the Christians were martyred in the Colosseum as well. So that's a bit about the Roman Colosseum. I'm going to go down from here and get a closer look. Now, this is one of the things I definitely, one of my main issues with this world update has been the fact is about Rome is some of the Roman landmarks were not 3D modeled. And the Colosseum was a huge missed opportunity to not have 3D modeling. Like many of the other landmarks for photogrammetry were hand modeled. Like, for example, in London, they 3D modeled Emirates Stadium. In Wembley, they 3D modeled AT&T Stadium was 3D modeled, even though Dallas was a city as well. But yeah, the Coliseum was a huge missed opportunity. And then right next to the Coliseum here, this is the Arch Constantine. It's right next to it. So here it is. There is the Coliseum, guys. There it is. This is what's left of it now. It's still amazing this building's been around for 2,000 years. Whereas a lot of modern stadiums and stuff don't even last anywhere near that. Like, the longest lasting stadium in the U.S. currently is, I believe, major stadium is Fenway Park. I mean, it's crazy how much it is. But it just goes to show you how much things have been pretty crazy around here. So right next to it is the Arch of Constantine. This arch was constructed in 312 in honor of Emperor Constantine. It's about like 21 meters high, 25.9 meters wide, and 7.4 meters deep. Yeah, I think it is Fenway, 110 years old. Yeah, the Colosseum is more than 10 times that much. It's nearly 20 times that much, actually. So this is the Arch of Constantine, one of the other little monuments. And then we'll get to visit probably the most famous monument, one of the other very famous areas here in Rome. And yes, I'm talking about the Roman Forum. This all here is the Roman Forum. So this here is the Roman Forum. Now this is a rectangular forum. It's a plaza. Its Latin name is known as Forum Romanum. For centuries, this area was the center of the day-to-day life here in Rome. Originally, it was a marketplace, but it was known for triumphal processions. Elections have been held here. Public speeches were held at the Forum. Criminal trials, gladiatorial matches, commercial fairs have been held here. And many of the oldest and most important structures in the ancient city were located here in the Forum. It has also been the most celebrated meeting place in the world and maybe in all of history. And apparently this is also one of the most popular attractions here in Rome, attracting more than 4.5 million visitors and sightseers yearly. So there's been lots of temples have been here, lots of judicial buildings here in the Forum. It's crazy how much the Roman Forum has been. In fact, there's a whole bunch of monuments that have been found here in Rome, even back to the old days. It's insane. Let me just pull out the drone camera for a bit, and I can let you showcase these guys around what I'm talking about. So let me go ahead and pull these bad boys out. So this is all the buildings here in the Roman Forum. It's crazy. So you see temples, you see monuments, you see all of those things. It's just, oh, it's crazy. I mean, a history nerd like me who loves all this is absolutely awesome. So yeah, these are all the different it's crazy so far. I mean, I love this area. Oh man, these ancient, I mean, I'm still very happy for World Update 10. This one, really intense. So now this area in particular, this is Popolo Doglio. This particular piazza was designed none other by Michelangelo himself. So Michelangelo worked on the square himself. And then, here's what's weird. The Colosseum gets 3D modeling, but now we're going to visit one of the other really cool places. And I'm going to try and make a landing. What? Oh, this is interesting. Ah, hey. Hey, Raleigh Mall, good to have you here. Good to have you here, Raleigh Mall. I got a question though. Why did you need to get a new Twitch account though? No offense, but so this structure right here. Let's park the brakes for a minute. This is one of the other iconic structures here in Rome. Here it is, guys. This was one of the newly 3D models in the sim. This building here is one of the more striking buildings here in Rome. So this particular one is actually known as the Victor Emmanuel II Monument. Now, this monument here is also known as where the Italian unknown soldier here was tombed. This building was constructed between 1885 and 1935 in honor of Victor Emmanuel II, the first king of a unified Italy. Now, before Italy was reunified, it was divided by many states, like the Papal States, Sardinia Piemonte, Kingdom of Lombardy, and two Sicilies. But the Italians helped unify it by Sardinia Piemonte, and it led to a unified Italy. It also serves as the altar of the fatherland. In Italian, it's known as Altar della Patria, the first an altar of a goddess, and then the shrine of the Italian unknown soldier. So there it is as well. And give you a bit of a look inside the building itself. So let's pop up. So this here looks amazing. The modeling here, it's just striking. The 3D modeling on this is amazing. I'm hoping that eventually when they do updates, I'm hoping the Colosseum gets this treatment too. But I mean, it's incredible. This is a very the error. So we're gonna visit back to Trajan's Market soon. So we definitely need to get back to Trajan's Market. We're past that actually. Rome, and we're back, and we're taking off. So no. Medic! Well, we have to get that one back in the air. I had to get a new Twitch account, got a new PC, haven't got everything switched over yet. Oh, no worries, Raw Mall. So, we're gonna go visit back Trajan's Market. This is located over here. So this is where Trajan's Market is actually held. Right over here. So this here is Trajan's Market. So here it is. This is what Trajan's Market looks like. So Trajan's Market is located here. So this here is a large complex of ruins. This was one of the other most important areas of ancient Rome back in the day. This particular market was originally thought to be the world's oldest shopping mall, but now many people say that's actually home to many of the administrative offices of Emperor Trajan. And the shops and apartments were built into a multi-level structure, which is here. And you can still visit several of the levels for tourists. You can still visit here. But yeah, this was originally founded by 100 to 110 AD. And highlights include the delicate marble floors and the remains of an old library. So this is Trajan's Market, one of the most iconic places here in ancient Rome. I hope you guys enjoyed it so far. I hope you guys enjoyed my history lesson about Rome. I know, I'm kind of glad I'm very thankful I got to split this up into 2 weeks. I don't even want to know what would happen if I did this for 1 week. I don't even want to know how stressful that would be. And on top of doing the research for Mars flight on Friday, I'm coming back. So now we're going to visit quite a few areas here as well. Actually, there is quite a few areas we're going to visit here in Rome first. We're actually now going to head to the Vatican City, apparently. So let's talk about some of the areas here in the Vatican City. So this one, the first one, is one was built in the Renaissance style, and it was originally planned by Pope Nicholas V, and eventually Pope Julius II. It replaced the original St. Peter's Basilica. This particular area, Catholic tradition was told that St. Peter was buried here in the Basilica, and it's world famous as a place of pilgrimage and for its liturgical functions with the Pope. So here's some of the information. This is St. Peter's Basilica, world famous here in Rome, in the Vatican City. And right over here is St. Peter's Square down below us. So, but that's not the only place that is world famous around here. So here it is, St. Peter's Basilica. I'm gonna go see if I can land back at St. Peter's Square. Let me go ahead and try and land there. Should be easy with the little ultralight. I mean, that's what's great about the little ultralights, is they can land in places where very few other planes can land, which I think is great. That's why I like flying this over the helicopters. I appreciate you guys like my history streams. Because I think flight sim's a great opportunity. So here it is. Negative 248. A little rough, but not bad, especially in the little ultralight. So, here it is. St. Peter's Basilica. Right in front of us. This is, let's see if I can read this. In honor, in principis apposta pabilis Ververgicus Roman Vespanas Maxima Emdic Exit Ponta 7. Try to read some of the history, and there's one of the ancient Egyptian obelisk located here in the square. So we're gonna go take this thing back to the air. The St. Peter's Square is lovely. The key is to just manage your speed. So as well. So I'm going to go ahead and take a pic of the Basilica. Yeah, hope to study Latin. Yeah. So the next area I want to talk about is going to be the Sistine Chapel. And this is the Sistine Chapel, guys. Let me tell you about this chapel, actually. The Sistine Chapel. So this was actually built by none other than Michelangelo. Actually, this was built in the Vatican City. It was consecrated in 1483. It takes its name from Pope Sixtus IV, who built it between 1473 and 1481. And since that time, the chapel has served as both a religious and functionary papal activity. It is the site of the papal conclave, where a new pope is selected. But the real fame of this shrine is the many frescoes that decorate the interior, particularly two areas: the ceiling and the Last Judgment. Both of those were done by none other than Michelangelo himself, one of the most brilliant people of the entire Renaissance as well. But this church has, you definitely check out the buildings as well. And then let's talk about the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. So the ceiling was done by Michelangelo. It took him 4 years to work on the ceiling, by the way. And it was the cornerstone work of all the high Renaissance art back in the day. And basically, the ceiling decorations here were basically a reference to the book of Genesis. Particularly the famous painting, Creation of Adam. And thankfully, this place has been restored more than a few times, most recently in the late 20th century. So basically, and there's so many stuff with this as well. And basically, it references the 9 scenes of the book of Genesis, being separation of light and darkness, the creation of sun, moon, and the plants, separation of land and water, the creation of Adam and Eve, the fall of them both and expulsion, Noah's sacrifice, the great flood, and the drunkenness of Noah. All those are beautiful artwork as well. And then the Last Judgment, done by Michelangelo. But this particular one was actually done in 1536, a whole 25 years after his ceiling work. And it was nearly 67 when it was completed. It took him 5 years to work on this. I know that doesn't seem like one, but that's for a painting. This particular painting is a depiction of the second coming of Christ and the final term of judgment by God of all humanity. And the dead rise and descend to their fates as judged by Christ, who is surrounded by prominent saints. There's over 300 figures, though nearly all of them are the males and angels, are originally shown as nudes. And many of them were later partially covered up by draperies. Now the reception of it was kind of mixed from the start, but also with much praise and criticism on both religious and artistic grounds, both for the amount of nudity and all that stuff too, but it's been world famous. It's a world famous painting, and it's been, again, shows you the brilliance of Michelangelo. Which we're flying over. And then we'll be going over St. Peter's Square. Basically, St. Peter's Square is actually a large plaza in front of the Basilica. In this one, there's also a large ancient Egyptian obelisk erected at the site in 1586 as well. So this is St. Peter's Square, right in front of the Basilica. You got lots of colonnades and all that. Leads you to the rest of the chapel. And then there's 2 more areas of the Vatican we're going to visit. There's the Apostolic Palace. This is the residential of the Pope, which is right here. There's his palace, the Apostolic Palace, located below us. The official residence of the Pope. It contains the apartments, various offices of the Catholic Church and the Holy See, private chapels, the Vatican Museum and Library, and more. Now, for the museum, it contains some of the most important art collection of the Roman Catholic Church in centuries, including stuff from the Renaissance era. There's over 70,000 works of art, of which 20,000 were displayed, and employed more than 640 people in 4 different departments. Right, this area's got so much art. It's crazy of works and all that stuff from the era. And finally, we get to the library, one of the oldest libraries in the world, and featured one of the most significant collections, over 75,000 codices, along with over 1.1 million books, around some 8,500 incubulia, can be found here at the Vatican Library. It's just crazy how much stuff you can find in Rome. And then down below us is the Castle of San Angelo, right here. So this castle has been around since the 2nd century AD. It was the mausoleum of Hadrian. It was constructed for Emperor Hadrian as a mausoleum, but it was later used as a fortress and castle, and it's now currently a museum. And it was actually once the tallest building in the city, believe it or not. But that's long been surpassed by many of the other buildings in Rome, especially in the more modern districts in particular. Oh, extra little fun fact, Dunkar says, the current Pope doesn't live in that. He's off in the south of the Basilica. Yes, that's true. But now we get to actually visit some of the most famous areas in Rome. We're going to descend down for a bit. That's because we're going to visit 2 particular areas here in Rome I definitely am interested in visiting. So first one is this one right here. I'm going to descend. So we're going to go ahead and descend. There's the Tiber River. Stunning area to visit here in the simulator. So this here is Piazza Navona. So this here is the Piazza Navona. This particular open space was built in the site of the Stadium Domitian in the 1st century AD. This is where the ancient Romans watched the games here, and it was known as Circus Agonalis, the competition arena. However, in the last few years of the 15th century, it was defined as a public space. It's home to many iconic monuments, including the Fontana di Quattro Fiumi, along with the Church of Nostra Signora di Sopocuro. And of course, it's featured in many parts of literature and films, including the 2000 thriller Angels and Demons. It was featured in National Lampoon's European Vacation in 1985. And it was even featured in the 2017 film, most recently, in American Assassin. So this is where the piazza was featured. But that's not the other major reason we came to this area, though. No. Let's talk about probably the most iconic monument in one of the other most iconic ancient Roman buildings. Along with the Colosseum, we have to visit the Pantheon. So we're going to visit the Pantheon here in Rome. This particular building is one of the most preserved. It's probably the best preserved ancient Roman building in the city due to its extensive use. It was commissioned by Marcus Agrippa during the reign of Augustus, the first Roman emperor. Here. Due to its large history, originally it was used to house the original Roman gods back in the day, but now it used to be part of the Roman Catholic Church as a church. Yes, this area was actually a church. It used to be... So yeah, this was actually a church, believe it or not, for the Romans. This is where the ancient Roman gods used to be held at. It's still hard to believe this building is still around and still preserved this well. It's amazing. Now, obviously, the front of the building in particular, there's a Latin text. The Latin inscription says, Im Agrippa LF calls Traventium Deceit. Basically, in Roman, that means, the full meaning of this is, Marcus Agrippa, son of Lucius, made this building when consul for the third time. So that is what it is in Roman, in the Latin language. But yeah, this building is extremely impressive. Now, the Augustan Pantheon was destroyed in a fire, which allowed this thing to be rebuilt again. During the medieval times, and since it's been used as a church, and that means Mass can be celebrated here on Sundays. And it's still one of the most visited areas in all of Rome, and it's still a very important building because it's inspired a lot of architecture, especially during the Renaissance and later, including the 42-meter dome Santa Maria de Fiore in Florence. And of course, it's also done so in Jefferson's Library in the University of Virginia, the Rotunda, and a lot more city halls were inspired by the beautiful architecture of the Pantheon. So, here it is. There's the Roman Pantheon. I mean, just stunning. I mean, just a stunning building. Okay, from the Pantheon, we're now going to go ahead and fly down further, visit more of the other areas. I hope you guys are liking this so far. Yeah, this is just unbelievably stunning area. So here's more of the iconic Roman buildings again. So we're going to be visiting, so we should be flying over Porta Pia should be ahead. This particular is a city gate designed by Michelangelo himself, constructed from 1561 and ended in 1565 after the death of Michelangelo. The current facade outside of the city was completed in 1869 as well. So there's Porta Pia. Roman city gate, which is below us. Here it is. There's Porta Pia. So there is Porta Pia. And then, now we get to visit another area. So this here is particularly pretty cool. This is Villa Torria. So Villa Torria is actually this thing's got quite an interesting history. So this villa surrounded, it used to belong to the Torlina family, which is an Italian noble family. It was designed by neoclassical architect Giuseppe Dallia. It was constructed in 1806, and it was finished by his son Alessandro. Oh yeah, and this place was most famous because it was actually rented by none other than Mussolini himself. And as a result, it became the state residence for him from the 1920 onwards, and him and his family lived there for 18 years until it was abandoned in 1945. And it was allowed to decay until a restoration work recently has allowed it to open as public, and it's currently owned by the city of Rome. So the Villa Torina is down below us. So here it is. So yeah, turns out this actually is the residence of none other than Mussolini. And in this area in particular, you get to see all his bunkers Rome was bombed and all that. Hey, a fall from Raleigh Mall. Good to. So here's the Villa Torina. And then from here, we're... Oh, no. So from here, we're going to go fly over to the Borghese Museum. We're going to visit the Villa Borghese. But isn't it just stunning, though? This is just beautiful, guys. Rome is a stunner of a city. Two falls from one person. Pretty crazy. It is crazy. You get to see all the different villas. Here's the Villa Borghese down here. And then from here, we're going to visit the Mausoleum of Augustus, which is our next viewpoint. Had to leave 9 off. Yeah. The Mausoleum of Augustus was a large tomb built by Roman Emperor Augustus on 28 BC. It was one of the first projects initiated by Augustus in the city of Rome, following his victory at the Battle of Actium. It's some very important people buried here, include Augustus himself, Emperor Tiberius. How about one of the most hated emperors of Rome, Caligula, was actually buried here. And the last emperor for when the mausoleum was opened for its original purpose was Nerva. So the mausoleum will be to our left. So here it is. There's the Mausoleum of Augustus down below us. There's the mausoleum. Here it is. There's the mausoleum. Okay. Let's go ahead and blitz through the last of these waypoints. And this actually will be the final slide for today. This is Stadio Olimpico, which is actually dead ahead of us. Here it is, there's the stadium. Stadium Olimpico, the largest sports facility in Rome, seats over 70,000 spectators. It's the home stadium of AC Roma and Lazio football clubs. It also hosts the Coppa Italia final, which is one of the major soccer leagues here in Italy. Despite being an Olympic stadium, it's hosted musical concerts. And of course, it was also hosted by the Italian rugby union team. It is the national athletic stadium of the Italy. So that's it, guys. That's gonna be the last of the slides here for today. Hope to download them soon and you can get them posted. You got me sold on the little ultralight. It is. For 15 bucks, it's great. Yes, it's slow, but it's perfect for an area like this. So there's Stadio Olimpico. Now down below us is the Olympic Village of Rome. There is the it's Italy Roman Olympic Village. So there it is. There's the Rome, Italy Village. Now the airport we're going to be land today is Urb Airport. So Rome Urb Airport is actually a civilian airport here in Rome. It's right around the Greater Ring Road of Italy, a motorway. It was actually inaugurated in 1928 by Benito Mussolini. It was the name Littorio Airport, chosen by the dictator himself. It was the base for the national airline during the time for Italy, Alla Littoria. This was the national airline that was run by the fascist regime. It was also got a racetrack constructed into it on the Littorio racetrack. It was heavily damaged by the bombardments during the war, and it was reactivated in the post-war years. However, most of the post-war activity was transferred back to Ciampano Airport, and later to Rome Comitia. It has since now been turned into the Flying Club of Rome, the Aero Club di Roma. In the end of the 90s, FAR Airlines tries to do trial landings in the Dash 7 STOL airliner, but it failed when the company was expanded. But most recently, in '97, this was the scene for a U2 concert. Over 70,000 people attended the event here at the airport. So there's Urb Airport, and we can get our landing done, and then we can go find someone to raid. The question is, who would be a good person we can do some raids? But yeah, this is it, guys. We conclude our tour of Rome. What an absolutely amazing city. I know this seems shorter than some of my other city tours, but I mean, I've already covered all the history and stuff in part 1 of the Rome city tour, which covers the history of both Rome and the Vatican. So, I mean, to me, it makes sense that I do that one first, and then focus on touring the city of Rome. And I'm planning to do this sort of style for other major cities. New York City would be one. New York City would be one of the other ones. Paris. I mean, I could have also done that for London too. London would have been pretty cool as well. Paris, Rome. Let's see what our cities. Berlin would be one. The city of Berlin, Frankfurt would be pretty cool to do. Maybe Sydney. Basically, if it's all massive cities, maybe do an airliner flight 1 week to talk about the history and all that sort of stuff. And then part 2 would talk about the tour of the landmarks. I think that would be the way I'm going to go forward with the whole city tour stuff. Hey friends, all good to see you here. Good job. I appreciate it, man. But yeah, I think you were right, friends all. Doing it 2 weeks was definitely better than the first, and stupid bot. Seriously, I rather get followers legitimately than to not. So, big on bot. Okay. Gonna find a good place to park and we can end this journey here today. So, yeah, what a great way to end the journey today. We finally got Rome done. Also, yeah, Amsterdam too. Amsterdam. Okay, that's it. Just turn off the battery. Turn that off. There you go, guys. That's it. That is everything needed for today's stream. Guys, I want to say a massive thank you to everyone here today. I really appreciate all you guys showing up. It really makes a big difference today. I want to thank all the new follows and raids and everything. I really appreciate it, guys. So, for the plans for next week, on this Wednesday, I will be taking the Boeing 247, and we're gonna wrap up the Philippine Island tour in the Boeing 247 into Manila to complete our trip, and then next Sunday a new city tour. We're gonna actually head back to the United States, and we're gonna visit one of the more uniquely beautiful cities in the country. Yes, we're gonna visit Salt Lake City. We're gonna go visit all the downtown Salt Lake City. We get to see the beautiful Salt Lake and all the mountains that really make it a really beautiful city. But thank you guys so much, and I think we know exactly who we're going to rate today. I haven't rated Pilot Peely, so let's go raid Pilot Peely, everyone. Seriously, guys, thank you so much. I love all the positive reception. Viper Strike 95 is going to be signing off. See you later, everyone. I hope you all stay for the raid.